So new week, new us.
Is it new us?
Same us, same us.
Same
I'm
us.
doing same
New
us,
week,
same us.
same us.
New week, same us. Tell me about your week now.
Um, I don't think I've ever had a week where I'm not busy.
Oh,
Or like, I feel like, I've gone to that age where there's just something
there's
happening.
always something
There's,
going
like,
on.
the week can just, it was a chill. Like, I'm not at that age anymore.
I feel like,
actually
when do you
insane.
think the crossover into the adulthood threshold was?
I think it was when I left my parents' house.
Mm,
Immediately I left my parents' house, By the way, guys, don't be in a hurry to leave your parents' house. Though.
I'm telling
Don't be in a hurry.
you. I'm telling
This
you.
is just free advice. You're not going to get it. Don't leave your parents. Don't
Free
be in a hurry.
food, no bills, you don't pay rent, no utilities,
I
no
miss those
anything.
days.
All you have to do is be home on time.
Just be alive, sir. Be alive.
The only thing, curfew. A couple shouting here and there.
I did have curfew. But yeah. Just, I think a lot of people, they're worried because about the curfew. They're worried because of the curfew.
Yeah,
They
when
want
you're
to be controlled. That
exactly like that freedom. Everybody
kind of thing.
wants
Yeah, everybody's looking
freedom.
for freedom. That's the best way to put it.
But I'm telling you, there's nothing that can indebt you more than poverty.
Yeah, I mean, this at the end of the day, when you think about it, this living life and paying bills.
It's not freedom. It's not freedom. It's not freedom. It's not freedom. I feel like that whole stigma needs to just be torn down because it's like you're still paying bills, so it's like you're still a slave to something.
Exactly.
So I'd rather just be somewhere where I'll be eating for free.
My week was busy as always. I think I wrapped up like school stuff.
Yeah.
When was that? Maybe last week. And then this week, just a couple of submissions here and there. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. How was your week?
My week was good. I actually have a funny story to tell you guys. Like,
Okay.
and it's more or less. It's not that funny, but like it was more scary.
I'm
So,
eager to hear it.
like, let me explain.
Okay.
To get back from school, because right now in the US I don't have a car. I usually take Lyft now, Lyft or Uber.
Yeah.
So on this day, I ordered the. That's why you laughing.
Just keep
So
going.
I ordered the Lyft, right?
Yeah.
And then the person's name was a couple of letters, like
Couple of letters.
like a couple of. It looked like gang signs, like a couple of letters. Like
Interesting.
okay, I was just like, oh yeah, maybe pop off. Like it's not that deep. I got I was approaching the car, right?
Yeah.
And I said, surely this is not my Lyft car because let me explain. I don't remember what it was. Like, it was like one Nissan or something. But when it's cool to have like tinted glasses and everything, right?
Yeah.
But when it's tinted all round, including the what's it called? The windscreen.
Yeah.
Tinted all round. Like you cannot see inside the car from the outside. Okay.
That should be illegal.
I said no
Isn't
problem,
that
no
illegal? I
problem.
think that's illegal.
The car was black and it had streamers of red all over. The plate number said "Why so serious?" And I don't know if you get that reference. This is from the Joker. From the
yeah,
Joker.
yeah.
Why so serious? Okay, no problem.
That was the plate number.
That was the plate. Why?
Did you show like that on the
It didn't show like that on the app. Why so serious? I said, okay, it's time to get serious because this is crazy. I entered the car now. The whole car smelled like weed. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, you just know.
It smelled like weed.
can
The
tell.
person was like, obviously, I'm not
was probably
profiling.
high.
I'm not profiling, but he was,
He was probably high.
yeah, he was one of the blacks.
So we didn't have to go there.
It was one of the blacks, and yeah. So I got in the car. It smelled like weed. The guy didn't even say hi. Me, I tried to lighten up the mood. So maybe like, obviously, they can't kidnap you if you are
Yeah. Make
friends.
it comfortable. This guy.
Exactly. So I sat down. Then it was blasting Skillbank and who was the second one? Just one of these Jamaican rappers. I said, "Wow, this is how I die." So,
I mean,
bro,
first of all, where were you come from? Where did you take the lift from?
from school, like from school.
I was thinking, as in, if you had taken it from like Bridgeport, like
Oh, fair enough. Maybe I wouldn't have even too
maybe
short.
something brought him from Bridgeport, because Bridgeport is the trenches. For those who don't know, Bridgeport.
It was not funny. The guy was just smiling throughout. He was just blasting his music.
Come on, with a plate number like that. Why would he smile?
Why
What's so
so-
funny?
That's so true. I wanted to tell him please for him, but I'm afraid they will just shoot me.
I have a funny experience with
Lift.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's always lift though.
Oh my god.
It's always
Like,
This was when I was in Chicago. One of
Yeah.
my cousins was getting married in Chicago, so I went to Chicago.
Yeah.
My whole family was there. Everybody was there. Everybody were there. And then, okay, it was when I landed in the airport.
Yeah.
I was, going to take a lift to the hotel
Yeah.
where we booked.
Exactly.
And, I entered the car. This guy's like, oh, I'm on the phone with this girl. I hope you don't mind. I was like, cool, do your thing. Only for this guy to be talking about last night, something.
Was he giving not the details? Was he
Details!
Oh!
Everything! I said, Mama, time out. When you said you wanted to, I didn't think you were going
this way? I didn't think it was this direction.
And then the woman said, it was on loudspeaker, so like I could hear
everything. Oh no.
And then
no.
the woman was like, don't you have like a passenger in the car? Like that's how bad it was. And then it was like, yeah, he does, but he said it's cool.
You should have said, uncle. I'm just joking. It's not cool. It's not that cool. It's not that cool.
I couldn't wait. It was like as if I was invading their privacy.
Privacy.
I was just shy. I was shy.
You know, go shy.
I was shy.
That is so
I said, what am I
funny.
hearing? And I didn't have AirPods with me. Why would I travel?
If I connect to the speaker, they blast Nathaniel Bassi.
I said, what are you doing? Man, but I don't know. I think Lyft drivers, they need to do something about their driver.
they need to.
Their drivers are always wilding.
From that why it's so serious experience, someone. I know they take Lyft again.
Always wilding.
Nah.
Honestly, it's cheap. It's cheaper than Uber, so
Yeah.
sometimes it is, but.
Yeah, guys. So if you don't know, Champions League just happened, and our
First of all, can we talk about Tommy's jersey? Tommy.
I just had to pop out and show people, you know.
The first time Manchester United winning something in a long while. Tommy's out here.
We are in the finals of the Europa League, by the way.
Tommy's out here wearing a Manchester United jersey.
See, I'm telling you that the thing about Man U is that you can't predict Man U. You can't predict Man U. So now that I'm proud, let me just wear my jersey. Now that I'm proud, just leave me alone. Let me just wear my jersey. I beg.
You boy experience win and now you don't know how to react. You don't know how to feel again.
I don't know how to act, bro. Literally. Oh, so our friends Arsenal.
Yeah.
They just got knocked out by a certain Paris Saint-Germain.
You know what's crazy? I think the craziest thing about that whole game was the amount of people that were rooting against Arsenal.
I am telling. Do you know that after the game, I said, like people hate Arsenal from their core.
With this kind of hate, there was no way Arsenal was going to win.
That's I can never win now.
They can't win because people already have them in mind. Like there was no way they were going to win.
But the thing about it, have you noticed that like even after they lost that match, everywhere was quiet because Arsenal fans are a nuisance. Arsenal fans are a nuisance to the society.
See Nifemi upset. Nifemi was shy to look at me. I entered because I didn't catch the full game.
Yeah.
And then when I got home, I knocked on his door. I was like, oh, as the game started, I was like, oh, it has ended.
He said it very quietly.
What was this cause? I can't even remember.
I can't even remember. How will you remember? If peradventure they won that match,
leave him now.
you will have to knock on the door.
Leave him. He would have put his hand on my neck like this. But I mean, I'm not glad that they lost, but I'm glad
that they lost. 10 toes down. 10 toes down. I'm glad that they lost.
Honestly, football was fun. I think we had the best. Well, shout out to Champions League for real because
this season has been
absolute insane
cinema.
For sports in
general.
Year,
right?
Oh my god.
Absolute cinema. I'm telling you.
Oh my god. I think people and everybody can agree that Barcelona versus Inter.
That was one of the best
games
I've ever seen. One of the best games I've ever. Everything. Plot twist. I
think it was the plot twist for me.
I was not familiar with Lamine Yamal's game.
He's so good. He's really
I was not familiar. Like,
he's really good.
That blew me away.
honestly, there's not much I can say about him. He's young with that kind of skill. He's going to prosper.
I suppose they did too now, but I just
Yeah.
didn't want to. I just didn't want to.
Honestly, it's true. All these things is opportunity, and preparation. You are prepared, but the opportunity.
They didn't come. But yeah, fair play, fair play. I had something crazy happen in the basketball world as well.
Yeah, man. All the
I have no idea about basketball, so I'm just gonna be quiet on this one.
all the teams that that are supposed to be good are losing in the playoffs.
Oof.
So the playoffs is a series of 7 games, so
Yeah.
like first to 4.
First, yeah.
And right now, I think everybody has played like 3 games and 3 or 2 games, and for the most part, the teams that are supposed to be the best are losing to like smaller teams, which is interesting because I'm a Celtics fan, and we won the won championship last year, and people were predicting that we're going to repeat.
Repeat that same.
And we finished round 1. It wasn't so easy. I wasn't happy with the team. It was 4-1, but I wasn't so happy because like we struggled.
Yeah.
Like we can't be struggling in round 1, and then round 2 against the Knicks, the New York Knicks, and throughout the regular season we've beaten New York Knicks.
But
Like everybody thought
that you're going to win, yeah.
And then first game we lose by 1 point.
Oof.
We had 20 point lead. We lose by 1 point. I'm like, okay, fair enough. It's the game. That's how it is. Second game, I'm thinking, everybody's going to come up with this dog mentality.
They ain't got that dog. Like they don't have that dog in them. That's just what
the
it is.
exact same thing happened. 20 points lead. They lost by 1 point.
Damn, that's crazy.
So now we're down 2 games. Third game is today. Hopefully we get the win.
I don't know them, but I hate them already. I hate them already.
Hopefully we get, but like this season has just been so interesting for sports. We're seeing a lot of things that we didn't think was going to happen, which is very nice to see.
I feel like it also just highlights like the level at which like some of these professional players because imagine losing by 1, giving your all, dropping 30 points, how many rebounds, this one, and then you still don't win.
Man.
Or like in football, you've scored 5, you've scored 6, and then you still don't win.
One thing I always tell people.
Yeah.
If I'm on a team that is up, a good amount, there's nothing I would
See,
I will fight.
What I would do is that if I see they're getting close, well, like let's say it's like 5 points left, I'll just fake a heart attack.
Game will stop. There's no
Game
way,
will stop.
because
Game will
it's
stop.
embarrassing.
Game will stop.
It is embarrassing. How do you look at people in the face and say? How do you look at the fans and say, "Oh yeah, we're up and then we still lost"? It's embarrassing. I can't. I just can't. I'll die on the line.
We died here.
I can't. I can't let it happen.
I'm telling you.
I can't let it happen. I have to take some people out of that game with me.
You know how they say it in Nigeria? If you don't get the ball, get the man. If you don't get the ball, get the man.
That's how it's supposed to be, honestly. Because why am I up, by this much, and then you're not telling me you're coming back to come and do what?
To come and do what is real.
No.
All right, from the successes and failures of actual professional athletes to the successes and failures of us individually, how do you define success?
Hey, that's a very interesting question.
Okay, I'm gonna rephrase it. Like, to you, is success like a destination, a moment, or a mindset? What do you think?
I think it's a mindset.
And is it forever? Guys, I need to stop saying that. TikTok be downed. TikTok be gone.
I am not even on TikTok.
I'm not even on TikTok, but
even if you're not on TikTok, you still see
that's one of my favorite ones. Is it forever? And that, sorry for the laugh. Those are my 2 favorite ones.
Even if you're not on TikTok, you still see whatever is trending.
So success is a mindset to you.
I think it's a mindset, and contrary to popular belief, I think a lot of people think success is I need to have this at this age. I need to get this job. I need to do this. I need to do that. But the thing is, your hunger for all these things don't stop. Like, it doesn't end. And the reason why I say it's a mindset because it doesn't end. You need that drive to to fuel you to like keep going.
Mm.
Because if you say, oh, okay, I need to get this, and then that's it, you get there and it's like, I don't know, I want something more.
Yeah, there's always something more.
Exactly. And take for example my gym journey.
Yeah.
When I first started, I wasn't really looking for. I just wanted to be toned. Like I just wanted people to look at me. That guy goes to the gym. But now I'm looking for something. I want to be very big. Well, not very big, but but like I want to be. I'm going hard at it. Now I have a different goal, and obviously because of the kind of mindset that I have of like creating I won't say routine, but like just having this this mindset of I have to be at the gym, I have to go at it consistently.
Yeah, consistently, yeah.
I need to eat the right thing. I need to drop this, drop that. I already like that thing's already part of me.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I think it's mostly a mindset as regards to like popular opinion that it's like a destination.
Yeah,
what do you think though?
Because I think I agree with you because like everyone thinks, you set your goals. You want something that you want to work towards and get to, but when you get there, there has to be refinement of your goals. Because like now that you're there, you need to set something more. So rather than a destination that you get to or a moment in time, it's more like a mindset that you have constantly. If you look, I don't know basketball, but I know a lot about LeBron James, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine if he defined success by just winning a couple of
just one.
Exactly. I feel like to get to that LeBron James, Ronaldo, Messi type of level, right? You kind of have to have a different.
Yeah.
You can't be thinking the same way that people think.
You absolutely
right?
can't.
Because if you get to a certain point, you will plateau, right? If it's not a daily grind and hunger from inside.
From inside. I think that's like the most important thing about it. Like just fueling that drive.
Yeah.
Because if you just once I reach this one, that's it. I mean, it's very easy to just fall off that way.
Fall off is the real word there.
I think a lot of African parents they kind of see success as get a job.
Let's go. Exactly. That's the. So how do you think that? Okay, I want to ask two questions and I'll answer it as well.
Okay.
Like, how do you define success? And contrary to how your parents, do you think they define success as well?
First of all, I think my parents' definition of success, I can't really put a definition to it. But one thing I would say that is very important to them is marriage.
Marriage, yes.
Getting married, and one time we're having this family meeting because like we'll be having like, family meetings online. And my dad was going at my older brother about this marriage thing, and he was like he's not pressured. Nothing my father did, right? And then I was now like
in whose house are you not pressured?
I was telling that John, you're next. Once my sister gets married, you're next. And my brother was like, bro, you're about to graduate. You go and marry. And then my dad was now like, oh, what if Jada gets married before you? And then obviously was thinking, my dad was thinking that he's going
there'll
to
be an outrage. There was no outrage.
My brother said, that's good. It's good for you. That's not. My father was so shocked.
Oh wow.
So like definitely for them, they see marriage as like something very important. Once you like, they think everything you are doing is like working towards getting married and having a comfortable life for your family.
I'll raise you there. That is not just in, let's say, our parents' own stories. I think I can't really speak for the whole of Africa, but Nigeria as a whole. I feel like because marriage is something that is beautiful, right? But this is definitely one of their.
See, you can have all the money in the world if you don't have a family, like
and
5 children.
We are guys. Imagine you were a woman, and you are. Let's say you are finished.
You guys have it all. I'm not going to lie.
You are finished school, university, and everything. The next question on everybody's mind: where is your husband?
Where is your husband?
Where is your husband? And from a lot of women that come from parents that are strict, from them growing up, it's kind of like a total 360 degree turn.
I remember just recently you were asking
me
if
you ever bring any man home.
But now you're asking me for
where
the
is
same
he?
man. because I don't know.
It's kind of counterintuitive, right?
Honestly.
From you can never bring anybody home to where is your husband is like,
Shout out to all the women for it, because I don't think men get bothered that much.
yeah.
And for my parents, I think when it comes to topics like, my parents are very shy to talk about things like that. So like they didn't really stress my sister.
Oh.
So they didn't really pressure her too much. I mean, obviously my dad would bring it up once in a while.
What's the about? Yeah.
And then, but I think one route they use is like going through uncles and aunts.
No.
Those ones they're not shy, yo. They will say anything. They are not shy.
And uncles and aunties, they always double down. They always double down.
They are not shy. They will say it as it is. That that was going a boy's not toasting you. Like, what's going on? You're a fine girl now. You're a fine girl. Accept one now.
But yeah, like that is how it always is. Marriage. But let's just, apart from marriage, how do you think your parents define success?
I think being able to afford a life that that you are comfortable with, and I mean, thank God for Grace child, because I come from like a comfortable family,
Comfy,
and they've seen that, okay, these children, they have experienced this level of comfort. Obviously, they will not want something lower than this. So I think them looking at it that, okay, definitely these children are going to be better. That's where they see these children going. They've given them so much. Definitely they are going to expect much more from them.
Even more.
And
and I think that with that regard of just being comfortable, because personally, like when I was younger, I was one of those children. I say, I want to be a multi-billionaire, trillionaire. This have all the money in the world. Which, like, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I still want to be above comfortable, right?
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where I feel like money doesn't really like. I feel like it gets to a point where you're just greedy. Like, you don't need to have all the money in the world.
Speaking about greed, sorry to cut.
Yeah.
Nigerian politicians.
Oh.
Guys, at what point do we draw the line?
How did we get back here?
Just like because I feel the same way too. I feel like you just like, yes, the money, but at some point you just need to
exactly.
It's not all that now.
Take your foot off the gas, bro.
At what point do they call it?
When is enough?
That's the main question.
When is enough?
Honestly, I don't know, but like back to
definitions of success.
Saying. I think a lot of people want so much money, and they think, oh, that's like that's where they're headed. You just want so much
money.
But I think it's way more than that. I think having structure, having making an impact. I think making an impact is like the word. And me personally, I think that's one thing. I recently, said to myself that that's what I really want to do.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not even just about the money. I mean, don't get me wrong, money is nice. Guys, money is nice.
Yes, but like beyond the accolades, beyond the money, beyond the everything, like making an impact is, because at the end of the day, like, everybody's gonna die, like someday, and it would be nice that by the time like is your time to transition into the next life, that you've laid, like you said, you've built a good system, and you've made an impact. I would say that one of my major definitions of success is also in relationship building as well, right? Because as much as I can work towards my success, I think that also in Christianity, I feel like we have a mandate or an objective to influence other people and be part of their own success stories. Right. So it's just like,
it's funny you say that, because I was talking with my housemates, Nifemi and Gosu, today. And I was telling them that because I've been thinking about how I'm going to make an impact and all that. And I was just thinking, I was telling Nifemi, I was like, what I want to start doing now? I want to be very intentional with my friends. And I mean, it's not just about checking up on them. It's about intentional with their career life. I don't want my friends to only focus on their 9 to 5. I want them to really. And I was telling him before he left the house, I was telling him that as you are going out and you are coming back in, you are going to come and tell me your passion. We're going to work on it together.
Is it my fault?
It's my fault. And I think that's one thing that I really want to start doing now. Having conversation with my friends about, or what's your passion? Like, what are you passionate for?
About, yeah,
rather.
exactly.
Let's I mean, 9 to 5. Let's leave that. Let's talk about what we're actually passionate about. Let's do some work on that. I think we're young, and this is kind of the best time to make mistakes.
To make mistakes.
Speaking of mistakes, what time? Like, do you think there's a time frame for mistakes, or you can still make it like 40, 50?
No, you are not allowed to make mistakes by 40. You're not. I'm not. You think I think somebody thinks I'll say I'm joking. I'm not joking. Now I feel like from, let's say, we'll give you grace, 20 to 40 is your mistake era. By 40,
Yeah.
you can't really be making you can't be making. Let me explain what I mean. Because most people by 40, right, they'll
Yeah.
depending on their preferences, like they might be married, they might have kids, so their mistakes will not only affect them, but other people that they brought into their sphere of life. And at 40, I think that you should be more stable. Maybe you should be working on your passions, and you should have like an idea of how you want to be in life already.
Yeah.
But you see, from this 20 to 40 era, if you're not taking risks, right, then what are you really doing? If you're not collecting no's, if you're not collecting L's, if you're not failing at things, like, then what are you really doing, right? Because now is the time that you can recover. Because at 40, if you go make mistake like this, it might be very difficult, because you don't have the same passion, you don't have the same drive, you don't have the same.
It's different.
Even your health wise, you will slow down. Physically, you will slow down, right? So
that's true.
now is the time to make mistakes. Like, is what I. So me, as many mistakes as I can make right now.
I think the reason why, I mean, which is kind of obvious, the reason why people don't take risk and it's fear of mistakes. I think, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it's natural, or like we've just been like taught to, be scared and be afraid.
And it's so weird that we have two major fears: fear of missing out and fear of making mistakes. And it's like, where is there's some sort of overlap between the same, because you want to miss out on things that you never tried. Do you get, like, of course you'll miss out because you're afraid of making mistakes. Exactly. So it's like,
it's a very interesting
conversation. Yeah.
And I was thinking, I mean, you can make mistakes anytime you well, I mean, now that you put it in perspective, like, paint a picture, obviously you have, like, people that are depending on you.
You, exactly.
Because, look at me now, nobody's depending on me. So, nobody.
Well, I'm depending on you. Are you okay?
Don't depend on me.
But to be honest, you can make mistakes at any age. Like, it depends on your own personal, like, how your life is set up, basically, right? But it would be nice, like, when you are younger, to just put yourself out there as much as possible. Do something differently. If I would say, if you're not taking no's, if you're not taking L's, if you're not failing at things, then you're not because the best time that you learn is when you fail at something, right? Like, that's when you get the most feedback, or the most. So, speaking of failure, was there ever a time, before or recent, that you have failed? Or just tell us maybe one or two stories. We want to hear from you.
I think one that is really, that comes to my mind first is WAEC. WAEC and NECO.
And not both of them.
Let me explain. So, obviously, high school, when we're preparing for WAEC and NECO, a lot of people at that point, knew, like, what school they wanted to go to.
Yeah. For those that don't know, like, those are like some what would I call them, transitionary exams, like SATs, GMAT, all these. University, yeah.
And so, a lot of my friends wanted to go to Federal University.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to
Babcock.
I knew I was going to a private school, and I didn't really. Everybody was reading overnight. I didn't sleep. Man, what a time!
What a time to be alive.
I mean, I was pretty confident. I wasn't like a bad student. I was like a little above average, and why it comes. Everything was looking nice. I don't think I remember any paper being really tough, right? And NECO, I mean, nobody really regards NECO like that. So, like, everyone was just playing with Neko, but still, obviously you had like residual knowledge
My
from
last
like,
Neko exam, I didn't even go.
yeah, can you imagine? That's what we're talking about. And so Neko, nobody really takes it seriously, but our school they tried to,
Hey,
put
my
pressure
parents are
on us.
listening, guys. I went. My bad, my bad. I went. I rescind that statement. Continue, sorry.
And you just use residual knowledge from WAEC to like do Neko, basically. So the result, do you know the craziest part?
What?
The result came out on my graduation day.
That's see risk. That's in a serious risk.
So, my dad was just all this dancing on stage and
You know, cause I know.
he was just eager. Let me see what this boy has done. All the money I've been paying. And then,
What
before
if,
the end
if you
of
fail? Do you think your father will scatter everything?
before the end of like the whole ceremony and all,
Yeah.
my dad calls me outside. He's like, this thing's out. Let's check it. What's your I don't know, I think it was registration number or something like that. And then, we check it and we see that I got D7 in math.
D for dog.
D for doggo.
D for drive.
The drive that I didn't
The
have.
drive. The same drive. D for drive.
And then, I was surprised. I was like,
Were you surprised?
I was really surprised. Because I was like, it's not possible. Like, I've represented my school in, like, math competition. So, like, I wasn't terrible at math. Like, I was decent.
Okay.
I was good enough at math. I was, last, maybe B3. Worst case scenario, C4. And I saw D7, I was like, this can't be right.
Yeah, there was a mistake.
And then
somewhere.
we go to, talk to our math teacher at that time. And he was like, I mean, this kind of things happen. Obviously, he had seen it before. And it was like, yeah, was disappointed because he knows Jedi is really,
Wow.
And man, so like, we don't really know what happened. There's, we can't say much to it. Maybe, because like, we write on pen and paper, maybe there was, this has problems reading his handwriting or whatever. So I gave excuses and I was just like, man. And then just encouraged us, okay, wait for WAEC.
So
Sorry,
I want
wait
to
for
get
Neko.
I want to get into like your mind and psyche at that moment.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you had
I
represented.
wanted to die.
You had represented. Okay. Just checking.
It was because
The embarrassment.
The
You can't hide
embarrassment.
it. You can't hide it.
because it's supposed to, and I still have pictures from that because like after I checked it and then I started calling, oh, let's take pictures. If you see how me and my father's face, the picture.
Because you went to embarrass him.
I said, what? Unbelievable. But anyways, we take pictures. I'm not smiling anyone.
Nothing is
like,
funny again,
people
man.
are coming to, oh, Jed, let's take pictures. This guy, do you know what I'm going through right now? And then obviously that day, my parents go home. I remain in school because like I had a couple of other things to do. And then I was just depressed. I cried.
D for depressed.
That same D for depressed now. I cried.
Yeah.
My junior brother was there, was comforting me. And they were just like, okay, we'll wait for Neko, see what happens. And then, Neko comes out, after I like gained admission. But still they were waiting on the Neko results. The Neko results comes out. D7 again.
Double D.
Double D.
Duncan.
And I was thinking, worst case scenario, my Neko will be C6. I mean, I wasn't too serious with it.
Neko.
But I was just like, it can't be that bad that I'll get the D7 in Neko again. So,
Little did you know.
little did I know. I got a D7 again, and I think for me, that's like peak failure for me.
Yeah.
I felt like, this is the end of the
Okay,
world.
after the second result,
Yeah.
like, do you think you still felt the same level of pain or you were numb to the pain already?
It took me by surprise.
Sorry for the laugh.
It took me by surprise. So I was surprised. Like I can't really remember what. Like
I'm sure I killed it.
I can't remember what
killed you.
was going through my mind at that point. But I know I was definitely surprised.
Yeah.
And eventually I got over it. I wrote GC
Yeah.
and then I passed GC. But before then,
The couple of months preparing for that GC, nothing will be funny in the house.
yeah, my father cooked me.
They don't go cook you care.
I don't even feel breathe.
I say, the food is ready. So you're still feeding that boy.
So you can
You can eat.
but you can't read your books. You know how to eat, but you read your books. That's the problem. I'm sure in that school it's only sleep. Sleep.
Guy, nothing. That's set up. Because you will just be your age throughout. You don't want to talk too much.
Man.
You don't want to. No.
Well, first of all, I mean, wait, I want you to talk a little bit about the time where you've like experienced.
Where do I start from?
Where do
I start from? Oh my god. I feel the guy.
That's crazy.
Let me explain. I'll tell you the one that I think got to me almost. That really got to me.
Mm-hmm.
This was relatively recent, so my university days, right? Like,
Yeah.
The thing about me, and I think I've said this on the podcast before,
Yeah.
is that naturally, like by the special grace of God, like I have a lot of intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So most times I could just, read the night before, and then when it comes and ace it the next day.
Yeah.
At least that's how I got by through secondary school. University came. First year, I didn't study too much. Night before, it worked out. I was like, for those that don't know the class system, so first class is 4.5 and above or something like that. So first class, I didn't read too much. Second year...
Wait. First year, you're in first class?
Yeah.
Are you serious? You're a bad boy.
First year, first class, I didn't read too much. That one was calm. Second year, same thing. I didn't read too much. I even did better safe. Third year, COVID came now. Everybody they cheat, so that one. That was my best year. And the thing is that I switched majors right when I was going. So I was originally meant to be a science student. So for science students, it's like engineering, medical doctor. For those that don't know, and then I switched over into business. So all of this, like I never did accounting. I was feeling myself now.
Really?
Third year semester 2. That was when I got my first F.
You got an F. Like
F for fish.
So wait.
F for fried.
Talk to me about like the
F for fantastic. Fantastic.
Talk to me about like the grading system. So I know in my school it was like A.
Okay, F was 45% under. So I got.
Was that E, D?
There was I can't remember. I think there was an E. Yes, there was E, 50 to 100. I think.
Okay.
So under 45 is an F.
Okay.
So that's when I got my first F, and.
What happened? You didn't read the night before?
I did. That was what hurt me. I did, because then I started becoming more serious. I was like, now it's time to lock in and start reading. I now failed.
That's great.
I now
Next time,
failed.
go lock in.
I now failed. And then I was now on the border between like a first class and a second class upper, because I had a carryover. That's what they call it when you get an F. Yeah. So I had to take that. And people used to know me as, like relatively intelligent. So when I say I carried it over, bro, I carried it over.
I'm sure when people are just now that almost even
to be carried over. No! My enemies, no. No. But the thing is that a lot of people failed that course.
Yeah.
And do you know the funny thing? Guess what the course was?
Third year.
Neither accounting nor finance. It was Nigerian peoples and cultures.
Are you joking? That's like a general. That's like GED.
But from the UK, so I don't.
Okay. Look at this guy.
I don't know too much about it. But honestly, I feel that thing, man. So fourth year, I wanted to lock in now because I was literally on the border of first and second class upper. Yeah. And if you're a Nigerian, you know the difference between having a first class and a second class upper, because I can't even begin to explain what that means. Fourth year, I locked in. I was always at the library. I was doing everything, trying up until the last point. And then I now got a B in my final project. And that thing, it just ended it for me. I now graduated with a second class upper. After like...
What was this thing, 4.1?
It was 4... Okay, first class was from 4.5, right?
Yeah.
My GPA was 4.48.
Jesus.
Yo, and do you know the thing? Like you now become in the same category with these people. 3.5 oh, at 3.6 oh, at 4.3 oh, at 4.2
Nobody
oh.
cares.
Second class upper. All of you.
4.49.
All of you.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares, man. Like, and my dad is always someone that prides,
Yeah.
like us on, academics and things like
Every
that.
Nigerian parent, basically.
Exactly. And imagine me, I've been on a first class. I'm in a first class. I explained tire.
Man.
I explained tire.
There was one time. Well, this was when I graduated. My dad was on the phone with one of his friends, and he was like, "Oh, he just picked Jada from school on the way home. He just graduated. Da 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 da."
Yeah.
And then down asked, "So what did he graduate with?"
Kilogram jam. Shout out to Lai. Kilogram jam.
And I was like asking, my dad was like, second class upper. The guy asked specifically, what was the grade? My father was like, maybe 4 point something. I don't even know, but it's second class upper. After the call, my father said, what do you even actually get?
Nobody cares now. Nobody cares. Like, that's just what it is.
But
like,
Nigerian parents, they take it seriously. Like, they want to make sure that they are, and that's something that is really good. I was telling one of my friends here that is American, raised here, that was raised here, that for the most part of it, our parents really, like, they invest in our education, they pay for our college. So surprised. What do you mean your parents are paying for your college? Because here everybody's taking loans,
student loans,
there's
student
no
loans,
incentive to like really go to school and finish.
Which is kind of funny. If I had a loan, would I not want to lock in more? Like,
I don't think I'll go to school.
If I didn't have to take loan. Chick-fil-A.
I don't know if I'll go to school, but I mean, I don't know. I guess yes. If you are taking loan, if you know that. You're the one that's going to pay for it.
Yeah, you have to lock in now, because if it's my hard-earned money, like, it's a different thing when you have people sponsoring you.
I was going to ask you a question, but now I forgot. Oh, hopefully,
We'll go. So that was one of my biggest. So I'll now talk about like a more recent failure, and maybe you can talk about something recent. So recent, like again, we'll do is an episode on my startup and what I'm working towards.
For that.
So recently there was this whole pitch competition thing that I went for.
Yeah.
And like it takes a lot of work to even just get to the finals. Like it takes you guys know, weeks and weeks and weeks of preparation, of fine tuning things, of getting data, editing the slides. Sorry guys, I'm not feeling too good. Of editing the slides, of just a whole lot of work, right? And I was excited because like naturally I'm someone that like I enjoy competitions, and I because I know that I usually go the extra mile to make sure that it's very, very, very difficult for me not to win, or for them to say that you're not the winner. And then this one came now, like, and I went there and I took my talk, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I ate it up, man. I ate it up, and it's such a weird feeling when you're done, with the competition, you're done pitching, then everybody comes to meet you like, oh wow, you're definitely the winner, like, oh this guy, like, where did they bring you from? Like, this guy don't carry our money, those kind of things now. Like, you're not be feeling yourself now, because normally I like to be humble until the end, right?
Course,
but I was humble until the end, and so on and so forth. I was humble until the end, and then I was humble because it was like, it was very painful, and I feel like it's different when you don't try and then you don't get it, but when you try, you
all your efforts.
because I ate it up completely. I'm not even going to lie. So the thing is that you don't get access to how the judges, score and everything. So it's just like, oh, you didn't win. And
but did they give like remarks on like, oh, okay, this was what we're looking for, this was what we
nothing like
nothing like
that.
Nothing
like
that's
that.
Bad.
Nothing like
that's
that.
really painful.
The what I would say is that the major reason why I think I didn't win, and maybe this is just my own personal explanation to myself, is that they were the things that were more like social impact, sub stories, rather than actual businesses. Just saying, oh, I'll carry the money and I'll buy 15 laptops for children in Africa.
Yeah, that's what they love.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Like
they love a good humanitarian.
I'm telling you, I'd rather have like something more viable, something more, replicable that can actually earn money. So that's the only difference between I and some of the winners that were there. But yeah, like I said, my psyche then it was very disheartening. Like I feel like it's more of a heartbreak when you've put in so much work and then it doesn't work out. I remember you said nobody has heard from Tommy.
Exactly. Let me tell you guys this. So I called. I think I called you around maybe like 4 or 5. Like around the time that I think that okay, Tommy should be on his way back. No response. Then later on, I texted the group. I'm like, has anybody heard from Tommy? Like I tried calling him, he didn't pick. I would say that's unlike him because that's like him, but But if I was like, oh, he didn't speak to you until since he didn't speak to you, throughout the day since we spoke to you only in the morning, basically.
In the morning,
And I was like, okay, let me call Desire because I think Desire. So I called Desire. I text her friend like, oh, what's up with Tommy? Like we tried to call him. Are you guys okay and stuff? And this was already like 9 p.m.
Okay.
Desire called me and then she gives the phone to Tommy is here.
Guy, no. I was not okay. Like I was just, it was just like sadness.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I know that eventually, like everything is, God's plan, redirection, realignment.
Absolutely.
All those ones. Leave that one first. That one good. It was at the back of my mind, but in the moment, it was like a wave of depression and sadness. And I missed another major event
because of that one.
Yes, because of that one. Yeah. And it was just so heartbreaking that I came home with nothing. It felt like my whole efforts had disappeared into thin air.
Do you see it as like an experience?
It is an experience, and I know that like even now, if I feel comfortable like talking about it or opening up about it, it's all learning curve because I guess I was able to fine tune my business idea and get a lot more information on that. But rather, I want money. I don't want that.
How much do you want?
5K.
$5,000. If you walk outside now, you see $5,000 on the road.
But yeah, like it's realignment. But that was one of the more recent failures that I encountered or I experienced. So, what about you, though?
Before I even get into that, I just remember the question I was going to ask. I don't want to forget it.
Okay.
I was going to ask, do you think African parents play a role in, being in, how do I put this? In like growing up and just being scared of failing and being scared of. Do you think they play a role?
I think that they absolutely play a role because it's like when the repercussions for some of your actions are so severe intense. And so intense, crucial. It's like okay, you have PTSD. It's like you just become afraid to make mistakes. When the truth is that everybody makes mistakes, even including our parents. Them too, they're not perfect, and there's always. So it just plays a role in in you being afraid to make mistakes.
I think it kind of comes from the fact that they're trying to look out for us, but it's just their method of doing it. They're always like that's why a lot of parents are scared when after they pay school they say their child is saying, I want to do music. What do you mean you want to do music?
Are you feeling right?
What do you mean you want to do music? And then it's just like they're just trying to look out for you because they don't want you to fail. They don't want you to. Yeah. Things when they see that this guy is making waves in this music thing, then they're calm. And we've seen countless stories. Almost every artist in Nigeria, it was kind of the same thing for them.
Yeah, I dropped out of school.
Exactly, their parents didn't want them to do music. They didn't think they were going to be successful, so they were fighting against it. I just think their method is what is really affecting us, as a generation. And
sometimes it's fair, right? You just want to protect your child, and you don't want them to, like, to not have a future, basically, right? Yeah. So I think that what they should look out for is more of like drive and passion towards whatever your child says they want to do, right? Even if you can advise.
How do you check for drive and passion? I think it's very hard to check.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult.
Because, you are young, you have drive and passion for almost everything.
That's true. It's very difficult.
It's very difficult to even look out for that.
Yeah.
And, they just always take the easy route and just frown at it.
Yeah, literally. So, what about you? Do you have any stories of recent
failure? does failing in a relationship count?
Nah, it counts. So. It counts. Okay, do you need a louder mic?
Where do I start from? And I mean, I don't want to go too much into details, but you know, I messed up. I'm currently, right now, I'm 0-3 in fumbling.
0-3.
0-3.
Hat-trick. Okay, reverse hat-trick.
Reverse hat-trick. I'm 1-3 in fumbling.
Name over here, guys.
Fumbling good women, you know. I don't know. I'm the problem.
I agree. It's the problem. It's the problem. I'm sitting next to the problem.
What I'm changing by the grace of God, you know. I did. I mean, it wasn't so bad, but like, you know, I guess it wasn't meant to be. But then it hurt.
Oof.
You know,
Yeah.
failing in relationship, I think it comes with like a different type of hurt, because this one comes with heartbreak that stays long.
And where do you know? When it comes to, let's say, the failure that I shared, you know, failing at the pitch competition, you can say, oh, the judges did this one, that one, so many excuses. But it's like, you failed.
You failed.
There was a shortcoming in you,
exactly.
or in something like that. So I understand.
So yeah, I mean, failure in relationships, I messed it up. I'm not a failure in Jesus' name, amen. And but here I'm alive. I think that's the most important part. I survived. Well, I am surviving.
Yeah.
And
if you have anything to tell her, what would it be?
You put me on the spot there, but come back, I miss you.
You are this guy.
Allow me.
Don't allow him. Anything you say, I'm going to cancel him.
Oh, I let my intrusive thoughts win there.
Fair play.
But I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, failing in relationship, that's, you know, one of like the more recent ones. And have you ever had like a failed date? Like you got on a date, and, like a very bad date. Yeah.
Oof. A bad date.
Yeah.
I don't want it to sound like pride.
So what you're trying to say is that you're not the problem. You don't want the problem.
Like generally speaking, I don't think that I've really had, like, you know, these horrible dating experiences. I mean, maybe it's grace or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really pinpoint anyone. If I remember, I'll say something. What about you though? A bad date.
I think I went to the movies with one girl one time, and
she slept throughout.
That would have been better.
Wow.
And first of all, the address she gave me, I didn't put it on the map. I just thought I knew the place, and then I went to the wrong place.
So I'm outside. He wasn't outside.
And then, you know, I tell her, and then we realize that, okay, I'm at the wrong place, and then I go to the next place. I realize it's still, you know, the wrong place.
Oh my days.
And there was now, you know, the third time is the challenge.
How do you want to lead her into a successful relationship if you can't lead yourself?
I think she already clocked it.
If you can't lead yourself to the right,
she already clocked it. From there.
If I'm a woman, I will not even follow you again because you will lead me astray.
In fact, I was shy all of a sudden.
You know, go shy.
I was shy.
If I enter the car, I say, okay, so what really happened?
And then, you know, I eventually pick her up and, you know, trying to have conversations, but it wasn't really...
What do you want to conversate?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that, at that point, I knew that this date was over. But I was trying to save it. I'm like, you cannot vex for me because, like, I'm not too familiar with... I just started driving now.
Exactly.
You know, so... we go to watch the movie, and it was... She wasn't enjoying it.
Oof.
And...
What movie was it? Do you remember?
I can't remember, but it was horror. It was horror, though.
The whole date was horror.
Yeah, same genre.
Same genre.
And then, you know, after... She never hold my hand. Like,
why not?
She's opening door for me, saying, "Na me video." I say, "Fair."
Hey, now in case you misread again, now.
I say, "No other." I just went to drop her home, and then, you know, when I was about to drop her home, you know, we're like trying to talk about, you know, everything that happened.
Yeah.
And she was telling me that she didn't like the fact that, you know, I came late, and I was like, I mean, honestly, I understand. Yeah, just charge this one to the game. I charge this one to the game. And I mean that was it. I never heard from her again. She never heard from me too. It was just there and there. I just knew
that is that's interesting. Very interesting. That's interesting. Like wow.
Very 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 interesting.
Maybe you hope to hear from her soon. So I think that before we round up or something is like, do you think that there's any success that you've achieved that you think you just walked over it and like you didn't take your time to live in the moment and celebrate it as much as it deserves to be celebrated?
I think one thing with me, which is a very bad habit, and I was even discussing with Tife about it, because we're talking about our graduation is coming up. Congratulations to us.
Shout out to us. It's not easy.
And I was telling her that I'm not even feeling the graduation, and then she was trying to tell me that enjoy the moment, because it's going to happen on the one. And I'm just saying, like, the kind of person that I am, I don't really celebrate things. Yeah. Like, even my birthday, my last birthday was like my first birthday that I really celebrated. Like, I had people around and do some. Like, apart from that, I don't really be celebrating. It's just like, okay, that's nice. But now, I'm trying to be more intentional about, even if it's something small. Like, when I rounded up the semester, when I had my first class, after my first class for the semester, my last class for the semester, I was done with school and everything. I took myself out. I went for a dinner. I did try that. Solo date.
Right. Yes, you couldn't miss that. So no vex.
And I'm trying to like do the little things. Just try to acknowledge that okay, this has happened. I'm doing this too in celebration of that moment. But recently I just never celebrate. It just happens. Nice. You try.
Keep it pushing. Yeah.
But do you celebrate? I don't know. Do you celebrate stuff?
The thing is that the way my mind works is that it's always on to the next thing. And like you said, it's a really bad habit that I don't take in the moment of what I've just done or the achievements. Because honestly speaking, like there have been some crazy things that, like, obviously not by my power, not by my own might, but a lot of things that have just happened. That's like, wow, like I did that. Like,
but really, because now I remember a couple of things that you've done in the past. Like, we didn't throw parties for this thing.
No, I know. But like, and the things that I tend to remember are like the mistakes or the parts that I didn't do so well, that I fixate on it so much that it sort of like. Two things can happen. Is either it could drive me or it could take out the motivation from me. It's like, that feeling of anxiety that builds up that you're not good enough or you didn't try enough or you could have been better here, you could have been better there. So I do struggle a lot with that.
But do you think celebrating, do you think it really changes anything?
It does. One thing that it gives is momentum. If you can really bask in one of your small wins, it can give you the confidence to okay, let's use for example, job search and everything. You get to the interview stage or something. That's something in itself to celebrate. But if you're like, oh, I'm so sad I didn't get the job, it might take away the motivation for the next thing, right? Like, that momentum of wins on wins until you get into an era where it's like how do I say this, that the win that you will now have, you look back and be like, wow, I've come such a long way. Because it's like wins, English is hard.
English is very hard.
What I'm trying to say is that wins, they build on each other. Like, it's more of like compound interest, right? Like, the more you celebrate, the more momentum, the more drive, the snowball effect of it all. Like, that's why I think it's really important.
You said something very important there, compound interest on, on small wins. I heard, I don't know if it was a podcast I was listening to or something on TikTok, and the person was talking about how he sets 3 goals for himself every day. One, personal or career. One is like something to make him happy. And then another one is like something else. So like, that day he has to achieve, those 3. He has to do something to achieve those 3 goals. And just the compound effect of doing that every day, it really leads to something. You said something there. Said something.
I cooked just a little bit of wisdom. So in rounding up, like, I know that we spoke about what our parents' success is, Now, what is Jedediah Akinde's
You
definition?
start, I beg. You answer the question.
What is my definition of success? And I know that we started off this conversation kind of clowning on, like, not really clowning, but like marriage and everything. And I
Yeah.
really do think that if I see a man that says that he's been in marriage for 30 years plus, I look at that as a huge win. Because maybe we'll do an episode on relationships, marriage,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. Because I know that it's so difficult, especially in this day and age, to stay with the same person through all your seasons of life. So right now, I see that and I said, okay, this is success to me, right? Rather than of course, monetary success, that you were able to, amass a certain level of wealth for yourself, is also my definition of success. And I think I spoke on this a little bit also with relationship building. Because like I know we've spoken about
Absolutely.
this, relationship equity and how it's so important to not just carry yourself to the top, but also
Taking people
lift.
along.
We rise by lifting others. Shout out to
If you do, why?
no, but real talk. Like being able to say that I not only made it, but I made my friends to make it as well. I carried my friends along.
Everybody's there at the top together,
Exactly, and I think back to
Very
Christianity,
beautiful
my
stuff.
last one. Back to Christianity, just living a life that of servitude, right? That that I was able to make an impact. I was able to do God's will for my life as well.
Yeah.
Those are my definitions of success. What about you?
Let me start with the Christianity part.
Yeah.
One prayer point that I always keep praying for. I think at this my age, one very important thing is alignment.
Alignment. So many things
once God can just put you on the right path. What else am I looking
for?
What else? I know I'm set.
Real talk.
I definitely alignment. Once God puts you in a place where you are doing you're serving him, and you're doing things for your purpose, like
Exactly.
the purpose that you're meant to to do on this earth. I think that for me is very important. And then also, as you mentioned, having friends and people that you really care about at the top with you.
Yeah.
And making impact. I think making impact for me is very
Very key.
important, very key. And even in very little things, I just want people to know that okay, this happened because of Jed, or we're experiencing this because of
Jed.
Those things really, those things really bring me joy, and happiness too.
Oof.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Are you genuinely happy? Do you think you're happy?
I'm chilling. No. I think that joy comes from God. So a lot of times, like when I feel in right standing with God, I feel like the joy just comes from there. Because a lot of things is like, when there's like, I feel like there's two levels to happiness. There's the surface one, and there's the one that comes from your inside. And I feel like a lot of people have surface level happiness that you'll be able to see on their face that, oh, this person is a happy person, but deep down.
People think I'm happier. Well, I'm happy.
You're
I'm
happy.
I'm very happy. I used to tell people like back then, that my goal is not just money and making so much money. It's genuine happiness.
Happiness, yeah. That's why you see celebrities that have made it, that have amassed so much wealth, and they still come on and say that money is not everything. That
As a
depressed.
celebrity and somebody that has made a lot of money, guys, money is not everything.
Millionaire in 1 week. I need your book. Millionaire in 1 week. I need your book.
Buy my book. Buy the course that I'm selling. How to be a millionaire in 1 week.
No, you want to be millionaire in 24 hours.
That won't be very expensive. I don't think.
Shout out to lie.
I'm one of the funniest comedians out there.
Yeah.
But
happiness.
That's it for me. Genuine happiness. Carrying your people along, making an impact.
Real talk.
And being aligned with God's will.
Preach.
I think I might be a pastor eventually.
So look out for that. Let's just talk to Pastor Akinde. Okay, so I think we'll just leave it there. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for rocking with us. We appreciate it. We're going to have TikTok.
We would have TikTok.
We'll have TikTok.
Yeah, we will have
TikTok. We'll definitely have TikTok.
All right. Later, guys.